Hi guys, welcome to my channel SAP Careers and Job Seekers Group by Sam All. Today we are going to talk about an important topic which is called cut over and go live. What is cut over and go live? Every project, irrespective of the methodology, whether it's a waterfall or it's agile or it's activate methodology of SAP, which is what we use for the cloud solutions, or it's the old methodology of ASAP, which is accelerated SAP, we always do cut over and go live. So, what is the process of cut over and go live? So, the first thing you want to do is before you cut over and go live, you have to configure what we call as the transports. The transports are basically the configuration data. The configuration data is when you set up SAP, you basically create transport packages, which is nothing but a configuration storage area within the system. And mostly in this case is the development system or the dev system, right? Sometimes we do it in the sandbox, but in most cases, the dev environment. We create the configuration file, we save it as a transport request, and it's got a unique ID, something like SKD, or it will have the system ID of yours, and then it'll have a number range in front of it. So whenever we configure, whether it's a program written or whether it's a standard point and click configuration in SAP, we always create a transport request, and that is stored inside the development system. Now, this actually contains the data that you have put in there as a configuration data, right? So the configuration itself is now moved from development to QA and then QA to production. So what do we do? We actually set up a linkage between the dev and QA environment. So the configuration file that is kept in the development server is transported, or in the sense is copied. The configuration is copied from dev to QA, and then from there it moves to production. In some cases, we also do it to pre-prod in order to do a load testing of the application we have configured or developed. Now, before we move from dev to QA to pre-prod or production, the process of moving into production, whether it's from pre-prod or whether it's from QA, the files which were configured in the dev environment, that process of moving from QA to production or from pre-prod to production, right? In most cases, it would be QA to production. Pre-prod is used purely for load testing, uh, just to see how is the response. Because if you have large number of users and large number of customer touch points, you need to make sure the system is responsive and it comes to certain milliseconds, and you want to benchmark it. For example, if you're a bank or you are a utility company, you want to make sure the system doesn't slow down when large number of user attach rates. So that is done in pre-prod. But technically, moving from QA to production, the process is called cutover. And once you have moved to production, you would do a validation test, because in the production, you're not allowed to enter any data. You just do a validation test, you go and check up the systems, you do some security setting in the production, then you basically regenerate some of those objects which you have transported using certain commands or certain procedures in production, and then you hand it over to the business users or the key users in the business who will validate the configuration files that you have imported. Once you have done that, you would also have to import what we call as a master data, and this is called master data migration. This is part of data migration. So just to clear it up, in the cutover process, we move the configuration files from QA to production. We also do security configuration within the production. We also upload the master data. It used to be called Legacy System Migration Workbench, or LSMW. Now it's called LTMC, right? So, which is basically legacy migration cockpit. And basically, it's now a graphical Fiori based app. So that's why we call it as a cockpit, but it was used to be called as a workbench. But most of the time now, when we move to cloud, the same thing that was called as a workbench now is called as a migration cockpit, and it's got the Fiori flavor to it, and it's got more user friendliness to it. So in simple terms, once you have decided that you want to cut over, it's done mostly during the weekends or during a maintenance window, which is roughly maybe Saturdays. And in case of large upgrade or functional or technical enhancement, it could be Saturday and Sunday. And if you're doing a lot of transactional data load, right? So there are three kinds of data. Configuration data is cut over, or it's either transported, that means copied, or it can be copied automated way, or it can be exported and imported into production. That process is called cutover. Once you have moved to the production, you will go and validate the system objects that you have loaded up or the configuration data you have loaded up. You'll also do security configuration. You will move the master data into it using the migration cockpit. And ultimately, you might have to also move a lot of transactional data depending on circumstances or the project environment you're working on. So this process of moving from QA to production is called cutover and go live, right? And this is done in every project, whether it is a greenfield project or it's a brownfield project. We always do cutover and go live, and it's an important aspect. And there is a log created to move from the QA server to the production server. There you go, guys. That's in short what a cutover and go live is, right? We'll touch upon more topics as we go, and I'll try to cover more interesting topics like SAP Business Technology Platform. I'll also show you on the system the cloud environment, which is what we call as IAS, which is Identity Authentication Services, Central Business Configuration, and then the client Fury environment as well. A lot has changed. However, in order to basically use generative AI, it is imperative that people move their application to the cloud. So we at Sapsol Technologies help people do this in a cost-effective and basically high quality approach, because we are experts. We live, breathe SAP functionality. We have developed applications. We have developed our own APIs. We have developed our own portals. We do integration interface. So we would basically be one of the best partners, both for corporations and individuals, in order to move functionality from on-premises to SAP cloud, which is called Rise or Grow with SAP, depending on whether it's a private cloud or a public cloud. We look forward to discuss more topics as we go. And thank you for your time. Please like and subscribe this channel. This is Samal signing off for SAP Careers and Job Seekers Group. Thank you, guys.